Welcome back, Math Marbles. In this lesson, we're talking all about percents. That's our goal for today. But I'm going to take a step back and let's talk about rates in general. And we know that rates compare quantities. And we also know that there is usually a relationship between quantities. Somehow, there is something that happens there in that rate. And we also know that there are special rates. Matter of fact, there's one special rate we've talked about a lot. And that first special rate is a unit rate. And examples of a unit rate, we had price per gram or per ounce. We had the swimming example, so laps per minute. You've seen miles per hour. And in each and every single one of these, the unit rate meant that it was a quantity compared to one, some number related to one. So per 1 hour or per 1 minute or per 1 gram, it was always set to a unit of 1. The new rate, the new special rate we're going to talk about also has per in it a lot. It is a per cent. And we talked a lot about cent when we talked about metric systems, right? We talked about when we see cents like centimeter or cien in Spanish, we know that this means 100. So a per cent means per 100. And so these are really special rates represented as a part to whole. And we try to represent the whole number as 100. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about these new special rate per cents. And so let's look at the first example we have here. 16 out of 25 is equal to what per cent? Let's figure this out. We're going to use some math for this one. I'm going to hit pause for a second so you can jot down any of these notes. And let's make a nice little square. And again, this is a part to whole ratio. So in this case, I have 16 out of 25. And I'm going to set this one, just like in the unit rate, we would set this to 1. In this case, we're going to set it to 100. So our total is being represented as 100. And we're going to figure out this number over here. Now, we have two great strategies for this. We know that we can cross multiply. That's one. Or we can see, is there a quick relationship? Do you see a multiplicative relationship going from your smaller ratio to your larger one? And looking at this one, I actually see one. Our multiplicative relationship, 25 to 100, I can multiply by 4 over 4. So in the first part, I know 25 times 4 makes 100. So all I have to do is figure out what is 16 times 4. And we know 6 times 4 is 24. 4 times 1 is 1 plus 2 is 6. So I get 64. N is equal to 64. And we represent that, instead of saying 64 out of 100, we use a brand new special symbol. And our symbol is the percent symbol. So we would represent this as 64%. That's what this little symbol means. It literally means that we have a ratio out of 100. 64 parts out of 100. So hit pause for 1 minute. We're going to do another practice problem talking about percents. And this is what you're doing in this whole lesson. We're going to learn how to represent a ratio and take that ratio and set it to a percent. All right, let's look at the next example. Here we go. What percent represents the shaded part of the grid? I'm just going to just read the question. It was easy. This is a percent problem, so it's still an RP problem. And just identifying, I'm just looking at the graph. So what do you see in the graph? you're going to look for the part to whole relationship. And so looking at this grid, and we've seen grids like this before, it's a 10 by 10 grid, which means there are 100 squares. And how many shaded do we see? Well, I only see 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 out of 100 are shaded. And so what is our plan going to be? Well, this one's actually not too bad. I'm going to express 5 out of 100 as a percent. And I'm also going to eliminate numbers that I know cannot be true as a percent, because I've seen percents in real life before. So for example, when I know something is 50% off, I know it is half off. So that I know for sure, 50% off would be half off. And there is no way this looks like half of this is shaded. So I'm going to get rid of that. So now I have these choices. 5/100ths, 5/10ths of a percent, or 5%. So 5/100ths%, 5/10ths%, or 5%. And I keep saying things like, I would read this as 5/100ths. So I can see why this sounds very attractive. This one, I'm saying 5/100ths%. How would I express this? So 5 out of 100 is just 5%. We did that in the last example. 5 out of 100 would be expressed as 5%. That's how I would write it down. So this is the correct answer. This answer would mean I would have a very, 1% would be, like, let's think about this logically. 1%, this one little square here would represent 1%. So for something to be even tinier than 1%, it would be like an itty little bitty part from that one, of that section. So there's no way these two make any sense. So we're going to go into the rest of our practice for today, but this is what you're going to do. As soon as you can represent the ratio out of 100, you're going to write whatever that numerator is. It's going to become your new number, and then you're going to use your percent symbol. That's going to tell the world it means out of 100. So we're going to stop there, Math Marble, so you can get some practice. I'll see you in the next lesson. Take care.